It says we're live, but I'm unclear as if to we really are live.
Hello, we are live.
Hello. I
Once
don't
you
see
see
it.
the YouTube count, we're live.
Oh, I don't
All up,
see us pop up yet. So
it's all up to the tubes. You know what? I may have to stand up.
okay.
Sorry.
Tilt
I
your camera. Yeah.
I am. Hold on.
Oh, there you are. Okay, I see us now. We're live. Ooh, look at you all tall.
Well, the thing is my shoulder is still out, and when I
Mhm.
sit in a chair, it just kills it.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to get things to stop, but it won't stop. I need to go get some muscle relaxers. Then I'll just be a happy person.
Oh Lord, not muscle relaxers, child.
Yes, I need to start learning how to take drugs.
I need to learn how to do it. I think you just
Yeah.
put them. I think you just ingest them or whatever forms.
Well, you know, the aspirin ain't doing nothing for me.
Have you tried ibuprofen?
I don't know. I'm taking something generic something. I don't know what it is. I just grabbed pain relief, and the
Well,
other day I popped three of them, and I never take stuff. I popped three of them and it still didn't do anything.
I think hey Kelly, um, I think that you might uh try ibuprofen because it helps with like inflammation.
Does that mean I'll lose weight?
I didn't say inflation. Like where it's probably inflamed around your joint and ibuprofen. So you might just be taking aspirin.
It's back here, right behind my shoulder
Yeah.
blade. And the thing is that this happens to me every year. It goes out, and I don't know what it is, and it happens of a night, and then I have to live with it for a while. It's trying to be almost over, and at that stage is the most painful part for some odd reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It, I mean, I know because I deal with it every year. So we, um,
What the hell? Okay, you know what, Vintage and Vino? I was watching Helen and uh Helen, the New England Thrifter, and they couldn't do the top chat or live chat either. Hey Bobby, hey Jerry, Beth. So I don't know if it's because I put it on subscribers only, but that shouldn't matter because you could usually use live chat or you can swap to top and live chat, and
yeah,
I'm in top chat.
huh.
So I tried just now switching it when I saw her because I was watching, like I said, I was watching Helen today, and they were and okay, yeah, well, okay, well I have an Apple, yeah, I have an Apple phone and an Apple iPad, so uh yeah, apparently there's a glitch. I wondered if it was because when you said that, I thought, yeah, I saw that happen on Helen's Cell today. They were talking about it.
I
So
haven't watched anybody, so I don't know anything that's going on. Okay, I'm gonna have to
hey
sit.
Pat, okay, yep, thanks Pat, yeah. Someone will say I'll chat. Oh, okay. Well, honey, chat away. You know what?
I
You ain't
think
got
YouTube is, trying to go through a new
uh
phase of stuff, so
yeah,
it's going to be messed up for a while. Because I heard a rumor,
do
I
tell.
seen it on Twitter, and we know all things are true on
Right.
Twitter, that YouTube is thinking about doing away with thumbnails.
Oh, what? Like the picture?
Yeah,
Why? What would you use instead?
I that's why I'm saying you have to take it with a grain of salt because it was Twitter. But it's somebody who was a bigger YouTuber
Huh.
that, that said they heard this rumor.
So I mean, if you don't have, I mean, this is totally not what we're talking about today. Now I'm intrigued. We might change the subject now. Pat, oh thanks, Pat. Pat said Robinson says since yesterday it's been playing up. Well, I seemed to be okay when I was watching Misty, and I watched her early on, and I switched to like um to live chat so I could be like in the live chat, and I seemed to be able to do it yesterday. But I was in there early on, so I don't know if it's happened after that. Yeah, I don't know what you would use other. Hey, Angela, I don't know what else you would use other than a thumbnail. Like, just say, "Here's video." No lead up to it.
I don't. And that's why I'm saying I found that an odd
Oh.
like that. I don't think that's possible, but
Well,
who
it
knows?
also gets people. If you have a really good thumbnail, which I'm not good at, but if you're really good at doing thumbnails, people like that. That's to me. That's what draws folks in.
Hmm. But
You know,
there's also the flip side of it where people complain about things being clickbaity.
to no click on it. You're
That
going.
would take that away. I don't know. That's why I just don't. I think YouTube's just doing a bunch of weird stuff right now, so people are, you know,
Freaking out. Yeah.
yeah.
Girl, Kelly, I'm glad you got your mystery box. I'm glad you loved it, girl. Um, yeah, it took forever to get to. That's my birthday. Man, the mail everywhere has just been crazy. Royal Mail got hacked. Well, and I say Royal Mail got hacked. Royal Mail's international part got hacked. But fortunately, when I ship boxes and stuff, I use UPS. But smaller things I would ship internationally through Royal Mail, and it got hacked. And they're like, please don't send anything international. I was like, cheers for that. Anyway, so Daniel, how's the weather where you are?
The weather is rainy. It just started raining. We're going through another. This winter has been very weird for us. Not weird, but not cold. So
Right.
we have the systems come in, produce tornadoes down south, blizzards up north, and we get rain here in the middle.
Well,
And that's what's happening again today. There's going to be tornadoes down south. There's a blizzard up north, and we're going to get rain here.
yeah, that's, I mean, well, we've had, it's not been above freezing today. If it's been above freezing, it was like a degree above freezing. It's been sunny and lovely, but I woke up this morning to go to work, have to scrape my car, even though I have like, your heater on and everything, so I have to scrape that off. And it was so cold that the whole road in front of my house looked like sparkles. It was very sparkly, which I was like, cool, but I have to drive on it. And I'm from Texas, and it's not. But now the main roads are gritted. They grit the main roads. They put grit all over it or sand or whatever they, um, do. So it
So
was
is
fine.
that all they do there? Do they salt the roads there like we
Yeah,
do
grit.
here?
Grit. It's like salt in the roads. Yeah,
Okay. I didn't
yeah,
know because sometimes they use mainly salt here, but sometimes they will throw sand
yeah. It looks like sandy,
down.
but not on my street. My street's because it's like a residential neighborhood. Ain't no one gritting down the street. Uh,
My street barely gets plowed, so
yeah, yeah. So, right. So since we've got the weather out of the way, Daniel's shoulder hurts. I suggest you look at what you're taking because I think you should take probably some ibuprofen.
it's probably acetaminophen.
What is that?
I don't know, some painkiller.
Oh, okay.
Well, I shouldn't. It's a pain reliever because it sure ain't killing it. Yeah.
It's still here.
That's why I need some big stuff, and then I can, become addicted, and nothing's gonna bother me. Then I'm just
Oh, there you go.
like, woohoo, whatever.
Yeah. So let me just close this door. Dave, can you close that door? Okay, because he got the washing machine out. We'd be hearing. You'll be hearing my washing
I
going.
remember those days when you had water and you could wash in the washing machine. I remember those days. Speaking of that, if I disappear, you all, I have a call into a plumber and I'm waiting for a phone call. So if I disappear, Dolores has got it.
He'll be back. He's just going to have to answer his phone call because he's a very important, busy man.
Because we all know how quickly we get responses from.
Yeah. So today, y'all, come gather around the campfire. We're going to talk about sustainability. Is it sustainable? Unclear. I don't know. And what I mean by sustainability is there's three dimensions of sustainability. And the first one, and the three different ones are environmental, economic, and social. So, oh, she's getting some video. All right, Beth. Well, you know what we look like, so you're fine. Um, so being sustainable, all the things that go with it, and why it's important. And here's the thing: we all want to be sustainable. We're all, and some of us are probably even doing our bit to be sustainable. Then you get those people, well, I sustainable and my neighbor's not, then why should I bother? You know what I mean? You hear it, and I hear it at work, I hear it amongst people, and I'm like, oh, because you're doing your part. But the thing is that we all want to be sustainable, uh and we complain that we don't want to take on the practices of our predecessors, going back to hanging out your clothes on the line if you can. You wouldn't do that in Houston, Texas in the summer because they would just be damp. You look like the thinker, the way you say.
I'm trying to find a comfortable position.
Just lay down and just point the camera at you.
It's like I was doing okay. And now that I'm like the cats, now that I'm on camera, let's act up.
And that's the thing, we've got so used to convenience, and we're all guilty of it. I mean, I'm guilty of it. Everybody's guilty of like just getting, throwaway things and buying cheap and inexpensive things, and it doesn't work anymore. Or it's got a hole in it. I'm just gonna either donate it or throw it in the trash or the landfill. And a lot of us think like we don't really want to go back to where we had to darn our own socks, or use just daylight to read, or just use as less electricity, and instead of turning your heat on all the time, depending on where you live, just maybe layering up, or because we're like, well, that's the olden days and we've come away from that. But if we don't try to find some middle ground or sustainability, we may be forced to go back to those practices, because we won't have a choice. And it's better to have the choice than the choice be taken away from us, because there's no way to sustain the way we're living now. So it was kind of interesting when I was researching it, and it's not all doom and gloom, y'all. I'm not like, we're gonna, I don't want to be, that person. But I think and it's my generation's guilty of it. And all the generations before are guilty of it. We all are. And it's just trying to maintain that balance of, do I need to buy XYZ? Do I need to use my car all the time? Can I walk someplace? Of course, there's places where you don't want to walk, or you can't walk, or there's no sidewalk. If you live in the country, it's just the road. There's not a sidewalk built there. You know what I mean? So it's just trying to find those practices that will help us better sustain, living on this planet, and being able to not be in a situation where we're forced to do the things we don't really want to do. Like we can't use electricity between this time and this time, and you can't do, and that sounds dramatic, but they've already talked about, having rolling blackouts just to make, it's sustainable, and like the types of things you can use, the types of things that may happen if we can't, be sustainable. Here you go, Daniel. Pat Robinson now.
That's why I gave the thumbs up.
Medical advice: if you can find Advil dual action. Okay, see, there you go. So write that down. So I think, and so we'll get into the different like types of sustainability. Like for the first one, we're going to talk about social sustainability, and it's kind of also used to describe environmental conditions, and they often intersect with economic conditions. So, they're all intertwined. Regardless, they're all intertwined. How you feeling there, Daniel?
I'm here.
Are you still kind of hurting there?
Nope. I think I've found a position that is just a dull thud. So
just looking up for you, friend.
We can deal with that. So it's not that I'm bored with the subject.
No, I know. You just no.
This is in which the position we must now take.
Hey,
you can the way I am. You ought to see me driving down the road, like my arms going up and down in the window, and people are probably wondering what in the world is wrong with him.
Hey Cheryl, how you doing? So, um, social sustainability is like having here's the thing: poor neighborhoods can become incubators for crime, sickness, and loss of infrastructure. And the thing about the poor neighborhoods is they tend to have what they call a food desert. And a food desert is not sustainable. Food desert is if you live in an area where there's no stores you can walk to, places you can't get to quickly because you don't have a car, or you're limited to where you can travel because you have to watch your gas money. These neighborhoods like that don't aren't sustainable because there's like, how are these people going to eat? How are these people going to get food? How are they going to go to the store? So that's kind of what I'm like a social situation. Social sustainability is making sure that neighborhoods have local stores or produce markets, or even grocery stores close to them, so they can then go to the grocery store easily without having to worry about I have to catch a bus, I have to do other things. Do you know what I mean?
Let me speak upon this. Coming from rural, you cannot stick a store in a small town and it's going to survive. For one thing, they're going to have to charge high prices
Mm,
because they have to get their stuff in and they're not a Walmart.
right. No, I'm agreed.
And people are not going to buy that. They're going to drive the 30 miles to go save half on their food bill. So a store, because I've watched them here, I've watched all the little hometown stores disappear.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't
Right.
be sustainable. And I also want to touch on something else. I don't know if you're going to get to it or not.
No, go ahead. I agree with Kelly's statement. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the smaller communities will have some type of food pantry or something, or at least a closer community than what you have to drive to go to the grocery store. Around here, there are a lot of small towns that you have to drive 20 minutes or so to get to a grocery store.
Right. And
Or they
that's
might have a local IGA, but are you going to drive 20 minutes to save money versus what an IGA will charge you for things, unless it's something, if you only need to pick up one or two items, you're not going to go in there and grocery shop for the whole week. But here's what I want to say, and we're going with the environmental stuff, all the plastics and all that stuff. You can preach, and I've seen and I've tried it, the non trash people and doing this and doing that. You have to live in a big city where there's money and there are these places to go to. And until the companies change their packaging, we are not going to change what we do. I'm
right.
going to go in a store because I have been watching now where I'm working, and the amount of bottled water that is bought is amazing. And jugged water in
Yeah.
gallon jugs. The amount that goes out the store is amazing. So until packaging by the companies are done to protect the environment, it's not going to change a thing. We are not going to change because we're going to go in and we're going to get what we can get. And also, this is probably controversial, but the recycling is sort of a sham.
Right. So, yeah, uh, Cheryl said her mom would drive from store to store to get a savings, and then, like she says, you're spending more on gas than what you would be saving. And I get it. It's also, yeah, in some places, the public water isn't probably, kosher to drink, so to speak. It's not. Yeah, exactly, Angela. Yeah, individuals can. You're right. It has to be legislation from the government, and they unfortunately are in the pockets of big companies, big. And we can argue that all day, but I believe it to be true. So, you know, it's hard. It's hard when, they expect you to do it, but they're not practicing what they preach. They're like, oh yeah, recycling all this. Yet let's allow all these companies to do all this pollutant behavior and packaging and not make them stop. Well, now here in the UK, when you go to the store, you are not given a bag unless you buy it. You go to the grocery store, you better bring your own bags, because there are no plastic bags given out anymore at a store. Now, that's not true. If you go to smaller independent stores, they may give you a bag, but it's usually a paper bag. Some are still doing the plastic ones, but any store with that's so big and so many feet, so much square footage, they cannot. You're not going to get your bags packed. You're not going to get a plastic bag. You have to. We bring our own. I just put them in my car and take them in the grocery with me and just pack my own groceries in my own bags.
That's what I do too. But then on the other hand, yeah, you're saving all those plastic bags, but what about all the plastic crap that's being put in those sustainable bags that you're carrying home?
Right. Yeah. So you're putting all your plastic in your bag you brought to the store. No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, Pat says on the other side, then people say the government is too involved. It's catch-22. Yeah, like, why are you in my life? Why my business? My free will. And I get that. I get that. Why should you be forced to bring your own bag? Well, because at least there's some kind of legislation trying. Is it trying hard enough? Unclear. Has it made a dent? I don't know. I know that. Well, one, the companies are saving money by not giving you a bag because they don't have to. I mean, because if you do get a bag from Tesco or the grocery store here, you have to purchase it. You have to purchase one of their bags. So if you forget your bag and you're like, I need a bag, you're like, well, here's how much it is. So we're now conditioned to carry bags in our car. It took a while we forgot a bag. We went to buy a bag. Now we're just conditioned to, as soon as we empty our groceries, we put the bags back in our car. Has it helped? We're still in a situation, so I mean, it's probably helped a little bit. Yeah, receiving should order their groceries through the government. See, I like that. That's a great idea, Cheryl. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think also a lot of times when you're on government assistance, I was on it for a while when I lived there in the States. I wasn't on it very long, and when I was on it, it was food stamps, literally it looked like Monopoly money, and it was like a book of like this funny colored money. There was no card. No, it wasn't like on a card or anything like that. It was literally funny money. It looked like Monopoly money, and there were certain things you couldn't buy with it. You couldn't buy processed food. You only had to buy fresh food, milk, cheese, all the things. So I don't know how it works now, but back then, I couldn't. There were certain things I couldn't buy on it. Yeah, 100%. If you have a family of 5 to feed, you're like, I'd like to buy the fresh broccoli and the new potatoes and the fresh chicken. But I got 5 people to feed, so y'all getting beanie weenies tonight. You know what I mean? And it's
the thing. Not everybody that's on assistance doesn't work. There are people who are working a job and still have to have assistance, especially if you're a family.
Yeah.
And do you, as a person who is working, even if you're not on the government system, but you're relying on the government because you're paying them money for your retirement and they're taking their taxes and all that stuff. So do they have a right then to come tell you, you cannot buy any M&Ms, you cannot buy any pop, you cannot buy anything that brings you pleasure. You can only buy decent food.
Well, I think but here's the thing, decent food is expensive. If, even if you wanted to buy fresh this, that, and the other, it's outrageous. And that's why people end up buying crap food, because they can't afford you know, a Hello Fresh, or whatever. I would love to order Hello Fresh. I'm not paying for that. I mean, and I could probably afford it, but I'm like, I could go to the grocery store and get it. But even then, it's like, and then it's also convenience. If you work all the time, if you're always working, and you come home and your kids are, I'm hungry, and you're like, I've been working all day. I'm not going to, make a 5-course meal for you. Sorry, ravioli it is then.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's
Something
just,
frozen, already made. All you have to do is pop it in the
especially with
microwave or the oven.
single parents, and you're working all day, and you have to, it's hard. It's such, it'd be great if we could solve these problems, and we're not here to solve, we're just here to talk about, like, is being sustainable, and but there are, like, and it's like with well, this is the thing about having the no decent grocery stores or decent farmers markets or whatever to get decent food, and if you can afford it, it leads to heart disease, it leads to diabetes, it leads to, and guess who gets these? Poor communities suffer with, yeah, I mean, they suffer with these types of issues because, and then they're like, well, I can barely afford to go to a doctor, so now it's just a horrible, like, vicious circle. And it's like, you want a nation of healthy people because it's better for your nation to have your people healthy, and and be able to work and do the things that they need to do and live their lives. And so it's just, it's being, and that's another thing about the food deserts, not having the good food and having to buy the crap off the shelf, and because it's affordable, because of, yeah.
And let's speak about the crap food once again. We would not eat crap food if the companies did not make them to where your body wants them. They put ingredients in this crap food to make you crave them and to make them taste better than a frickin' broccoli. I mean, come on.
Damn,
Y'all can be as healthy as
broccoli.
you want, but broccoli tastes like a plant. It does not taste like potato chips. It does not taste like a pizza roll. It does not taste salt and sweet and all the preservatives that are put into food to make us want to buy them. The companies know what they're doing. If you
Oh
don't
yeah,
think they don't, so
I feel
once
like
again,
probably,
we're back to, if the companies don't change, the people are not going to change.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
am one of them. I'm speaking from pizza rolls and popcorn chicken in a bag. That is what I'm living on now. And croissant sausage sandwiches for breakfast. I am killing myself right now. And I know it.
um yeah, I saw some that would be on the first. Oh yeah, when you get paid on the first. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd be buying steaks on the first, and then by the 20th, I'm like, where are my ramen noodles? Not now, but when I was, when I was struggling, and and everybody struggles. Everybody struggles now. People struggle now. It doesn't matter when you struggle. A struggle is a struggle, and it's very difficult to kind of get away or try to, like, I want to save money and do this, so I can't go out and buy the broccoli and I mean, even eggs now. Apparently, y'all's eggs have just. I
talk about those eggs.
don't talk about them. Don't
Don't
talk
talk
about them.
about them, and they keep saying because it's the bird flu. It's the bird flu. It's the bird flu.
But as a result of all we've just talked about, we're still, to this day, trying to recover from this unstable behavior, because it is unstable. And and it's unstable for many reasons. Financial reasons, environmental reasons, where you live, like financial, because you don't have that kind of money to buy that. And so, and then her daughters live on pizza rolls. It'll be fine. I lived on pizza rolls. I grew up. I mean, I didn't get very tall, but that's probably because the pizza rolls. I'd have been taller if it wasn't for pizza rolls. Hey, LaDonna. I saw John Robert come in.
That's
Hey,
what
y'all.
I have on my mind today. I gotta go grocery store because I'm out pizza rolls and I'm out my breakfast sandwiches, and I ain't cooking. This is my one day off. I got to go buy food that I don't have to cook.
I mean, so let's go to the. I saw Pat put in that in New Jersey. There are no single use bags. You have to bring your own bags. And when I went to New Hampshire in 2017, they just brought that law in where you're not getting bags from the grocery store. You had to bring your own bags.
Well,
So
I tell you right, back on the sustainability and the bags, the plastic bags, just because I'm learning a lot. It's always good to go work somewhere where you complain about things and then you learn.
yeah,
The plastic bags that certain corporations use, sorry, dog hair, um, are crap. We throw away more bags that rip.
yeah,
You would be amazed just because they're made poorly.
yeah,
And so just because the company's trying to save money.
yeah. So then why bother? Then just let people bring their own bags. Well, you're going to save, the company itself is going to save money not buying all these bags and putting their logo. Let them buy what we call a bag for life. So it's a bag for life. You can buy it. If it then wears, you can then swap it for another bag or get another bag discount. That's how it works here. Or you can buy like the dollar store. You can buy, all the bags you want because you have to bring your own bags. But they're reusable. They're bags for life. They will, you can keep using them. And it's just, uh, like I said, when I go to Walmart in the States, my mind is blown because I go to, Texas, and you go to Walmart and you buy something and there's just like a carousel and they're just putting like 2 items in a bag. And I'm like, what? I feel guilty because I've been so conditioned to bring my own bag.
But here's the thing on that. Do you know why? Because you are trained not to put chemicals in with food. You're trained to put certain foods together. So that's why sometimes you only have just a few items in a bag because you're told not to
Right.
put certain things with certain things. Because not
Yeah.
everybody is like you or me, where put it in one bag. I don't give a crap. It'll be fine. Not everybody's that way. So you have to,
I appreciate that. And then let them bring their own bags to separate their own groceries. um,
Okay, here's the thing though. Think about going to Aldi and think about going to Walmart.
Right.
We see the lines at Walmart. Can you imagine what they would be like if they made people bring their own bags and just shoved all that stuff in a cart? And then you would have to find some place for them to take that cart and load up their bags.
Well,
Most of them are not going to go out to, because at Aldi, you have a counter that you
Yeah.
go to, you can load your stuff up because it's smaller, not as many people are going in there. Can you imagine Walmart
Well, Tesco does. You bring your own bags and pack them yourself.
and have that?
Bagger for you. Tesco's are large. Asda, we have a store called Asda, which is based on Walmart here. They're not giving you bags. Where the carousel is, that's not there. So you have the end of your like checkout where you would have where your carousel would sit, like Walmart, that's gone. So there's not that's an empty space. And then you put as you're getting your stuff, you put it in your bags. You have your bags, you take your bags, set them up. Where the carousel is, remove it. People can just put their bags there. Hey, H. Welch. Yeah, we do need Kleenex, paper towels, and all the things. Yeah, we do, and we do. And you can make them. And Sainsbury's, yeah, Sainsbury. They got cute clothes there. But when I went to Target the other day, there was only one checkout lane, all self checkouts. And that's a problem if you got 50 people with their own bags. You know what I mean? Or 100 people with their own bags go, come on, get them in that bag. I gotta go. But even in our self checkouts, there's a place there to put your bag. So when you're checking self checkout, you set your bag up. It says, "Did you bring your own bag?" And you go, "Yes." Place bag on the shelf next, on your shelf. Put on a shelf. Great. Start scanning and then put it in. So, it's just there's ways you can do it. It's just that I think a lot of, hey, Picasso cat, Kathy, I just think we and we're all guilty of it, y'all. We want it easy. We want to eat. We want it easy. We want to get in. We want to get out. We got things to do because we're so big. You know, but if we're gonna go to a store, we have to take our own bags. And I just think, California still requires you to bring your own bag. Yeah. Certain states have adopted that, Texas not included, because at least last time I was there. Oh yeah, there you go. She went to Aldi, 30 minutes away. Spent yeah, here same. We have Aldi here, and it's the same. You would spend half of what you'd spend at Tesco's. Yeah, for sure.
Look at us getting off sustainability and
I
talking
know.
about. We don't give a crap about sustainability right now. We want lower grocery prices.
I love Aldi too.
Then we'll talk about being sustainable.
I know we're just like this big commercial for Aldi now. Good shop, Aldi. Where's my cut, Aldi? No, but like, so now we're going to talk about environmental sustainability items. And here's the thing: a lot of things are unsustainable. Dyeing fabric is unsustainable, but it's still done because there's certain you have to. I mean, you don't have to, but people want choice. So you have places that dye fabric, and the dyes that are used are part nasty. Even with cotton, and it's like it's cotton. There are natural dyes that you can use for natural products, but when you start talking polyester and your man-made fabrics, not very nice to do. And it's the water management. Water management, yes, fast fashion. That's why I say go thrift your clothes. You can get just as good clothes. And but here, well, that's a whole different story. But not to go off on one, but never mind. But like there's so many depleted natural resources, and some of the. I think to go back to the food deserts and having areas in where you can get food. There's always a good. You'd have to like really have a good neighborhood or a good area where you would grow certain things. Like maybe you could grow this and someone could grow that, and then you could swap. Do you know what I mean? So having like urban gardens or urban vegetable patches and stuff where you could do that, and that way you could have. I mean, well, I don't know about Daniel's neighborhood because the gopher.
Angry every time you talk about gardening.
It's not my fault.
I want a garden. But my groundhogs love the garden more than I do.
Yeah, the groundhogs said gophers. Yeah, and obviously with that, and then you can't put pesticides out to kill the gophers because then if something eats the carcass of the gopher, then you've just now probably killed that scavenger. So it's such a catch-22. So, but there's like sustainable businesses like wind farms, solar distributors, organic food producers, wildlife experts who reestablish wildlife corridors. These things can help. People are like, I don't want a wind farm. In my view, I don't want to see a wind farm. It's ugly. I'm like, well, having the earth scorched is pretty ugly as well. I think I'd rather look at a wind farm, and the solar panels that people put on their houses, or there's fields of solar panels. It's just these things have to happen. These things we have to start finding alternative energy sources because it's, we're so reliant, and we still are. We're so reliant on fossil fuel. Everybody is. If you drive a car, it's like trying to get an electric car is crazy, outrageous prices. And the problem is, so yeah, I spend all this money on an electric car. Where do I charge it? Where do I charge it? There's no place for me to. It's like I can't go to the Stop and Go, or okay, that's dating myself, or the 7-Eleven to go plug my car in, and that's and then to get a plug at your own home is very expensive unless like the government decides to, maybe pay half of whatever, or pay half of the electric point you need at your own house, it's difficult, and then that uses electricity anyway. You gotta plug it in. So
In Britain, a lot of the car companies
yeah.
will actually come and fit them for you if you buy
Oh.
a car, because electricity is something.
Right. So he was just saying that a lot of the car companies here, if you buy an electric car, will come and fit
All the stuff in there.
a high thrifted out of ordering. Will come and fit a electric point. But it's the logistics of it. It's the logistics of everyone having a place to charge an electric car, which takes electricity. I think they should use, was it hydrogen? But that's very explosive, unfortunately. So I think hydrogen cars would be good, but you run the risk of your car blowing up if you get to it right now. The possibility of that changing with the way engineering and everything changes so quickly, that could be a game changer, hydrogen. But right now, as it is, and it's very heavy to put a hydrogen engine in, and it's just it's where you'll get hydrogen from. I mean, when we run out of that, I mean, it's just I know all these things, but and so economic sustainability is just, it involves businesses making a profit, but the operation is not concerned about the environmental impact that their profits are making, i.e., plastic packaging, like we talked about. Yeah, there you go. See, that right back to, where do you dispose of the batteries when they go out? I mean, yeah, 100%. Corn. I mean, corn could be. There's very, very many options. It's just getting that one big, huge company to invest in it and to follow it all the way through.
See, I'm laughing because this sustainability thing. Pardon me. I am beginning to become quite this is such a farce, because like corn, well, okay, but then we're spraying all these chemicals all over the country that is going into our water because we're trying to grow this corn, and we have all these tractors out there polluting the air with all their gas and all that stuff, and then all the chemicals that they spray everywhere that causes our water to be bad, and then we go buy bottled water from the store.
Yeah, it's just, and again, talk about recycling. There's companies that make businesses out of recycling. But
sorry, I'm laughing at Lola. Lola just jumped down behind you.
Have a serious conversation with my cats jumping around behind me. But it's just it's hard because we want to do the best we can, but at the same time, hi Heidi, how do you go forward if you're not getting the support of large corporations, government agencies? It's fine giving it all this, in your campaign speech, or this, trying to get people to come to the store. We could all become Amish, but I don't know how to sew or knit, or useless. Absolutely useless. I'd make a horrible Amish person. They'd kick me out. Yeah, and everything's it water in plastic bottles. Yeah, that's the thing, is you can recycle a lot of plastic. You can make polyester out of melted down plastic, and there's you can't drink the tap water where Picasso cat lives because it's nasty. And I mean, I don't know, maybe Brita filters would help. Unclear. I use one and my water tastes okay anyway. I just but it will never be perfect as long as humans are alive. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Well, the only way that we're going to become sustainable is to have that big old asteroid come wipe us out, Like the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs probably were not a sustainable thing, so they got.
That's a good point, LaDonna. We recycle everything here too. We have a bin that you recycle. You know, like you put the recycling bin out, and then the trash bin, and all that, and then, but I go to, huh?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to be the opposite here.
In Britain, only 50%
Oh.
of them you actually gets.
Oh, okay. Only 50% of everything here that we recycle only gets recycled.
I was getting ready to say, what they do with the recyclable stuff is they ship it over to another country. Is it India? India or somewhere. There is mounds and mounds and mounds of recyclable stuff shipped over to other countries that are supposedly recyclable. But now we have like islands of plastic in the ocean and heaps
Right.
in another country.
Right. Well, a lot of times they will gather that plastic up in the oceans, and they do, and they actually can then melt it and make it into yarn, which I know for a fact that they can do that. But here's a little secret y'all have been keeping from you. I want to say I was going to do a whole nother show on it, but I think I'll just throw it in here because I don't think there's enough information on it to do a whole nother show on it. 2023 is the year of seaweed. I'm just going to leave that with you. I've been doing a lot of research for work about seaweed and the properties of seaweed. And I listened to a show on BBC 5, it's a radio show, on the way home, and they're using, so you know when you get like a takeaway box, or apart from pizza boxes, but and you go to McDonald's and you get like, it looks like cardboard, but you can feel the plastic film on it. Well, they're using seaweed. They're making it into plastic lining. The government in Australia has started to break down seaweed to the point where it's like a white powder, and it can be turned into plastic and polyester. But the thing is, it's biodegradable, and it biodegrades quick. And the thing about farming seaweed is seaweed grows 1 meter per day. And you can laugh, but I think
I'm not laughing because I'm thinking, well, we also had a lot of wood in this country, but
right.
we have weeded that out.
Right.
And
Well,
so
trees don't grow 1 meter a day. So, you know, seaweed grows 1 meter
we
a
will
day.
find a way to completely, if we decide to use that, to completely wipe
But
out the seaweed.
Other objects they're using to replace plastic. So other, you know, you can use, like, there's a lot of companies using mushrooms as leather, and leather furniture, and it's like a mushroom leather. So not only is it vegan, but it's also not, you know, it's, you know, friendly for the environment. And even the process of making the mushrooms into leather isn't a nasty process, because you can have all the natural fibers you want, but let me tell you, to get them that way is a very nasty process, because I work with fabric, and all these, you know, oh, it's this, it's this, it's that. It's like, yeah, but if you want it dyed a color, or you want it white or perfect, it uses so much water. And then that's another thing. You don't need fresh water. Clearly, you don't need fresh water to farm seaweed. See, like I said, seaweed grows, bamboo grows super fast. Exactly. So, not those kind of mushrooms, Jerry. Although that would be pretty cool. Vegan leather, yeah. So there's a lot of ways that can, you know, we can start looking at. They're not going to happen overnight. They're actually making plastic out of seaweed, which I think is in itself is amazing. But in addition to bamboo, which grows very fast, seaweed, which grows very fast, mushrooms, which grow very fast, these are things that really need to be taken on by a large company, or even, like I said, the Australian government is the one doing this research on seaweed. Oh, girl, yeah. Well, that's Yeah, so they do farm the kelp, and they also can't farm peat anymore because you used to use peat in a lot of things, and now they're not allowed to they're not allowed to dig peat out in Scotland. Um, I mean, I just think there's certain things as we start to get to the top of the hour that even if you don't think I'm not making an impact and you think certain companies aren't making an impact, I think everybody has to do their bit. But like we said, if we're not being backed by the large companies and the large government agencies, CBD, oh no, it's CBD. Oh, I love CBD oil. Um, but I think we're on the cusp, hopefully, of something. Yeah, exactly. Seaweed and mushrooms are the future, and it has been largely ignored. And if someone could just take these ideas and go, just a big think tank or someone with money. I need someone with money to do this. Elon Musk, instead of buying Twitter, invest in seaweed, you know. Um, and it's just and you got to start somewhere because it's fine saying, well, we could have, should have, would have, that's not going to work. We don't know until we try. Where I work for research and development, and a lot of things that we do not work. We still try them though, and we keep trying till we get something that works right. And that's the thing. You just can't go, well, this one thing didn't work. If that was the case, there wouldn't be research and development. We just be like,
here's the thing. Ultimately, money talks.
Yeah,
so
100%.
People don't buy it, they're not going to continue to make it. No matter how sustainable it is, even in your line of work, even if you'd come up with something that worked, but if the people didn't buy it, then your company's going to say, nope, we're moving on to something else.
Well, it's not that they don't want to buy it. It's just that if it doesn't work and we have to move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we've made strides in my industry, but there's still more, girl, preach. I said this, you're reading my mind. I said this earlier. I was like, too many people. You're right, 100%. And it's not our fault, but we need to vote in the right people. We need to vote in, the people that actually are going to do something and not just give it all that. That's fine, but put your money where your mouth is. If you're gonna talk the talk, walk the walk. I'm gonna need to see you use a seaweed. And I'm just telling you that all the wonderful information I've read about seaweed, and that how they can even feed it to cows and it not create the methane gas that cows create. It was just fascinating. It was fascinating.
I love seaweed snacks.
I do too. They're so tasty. And there was one, I will tell you this real quick, because I just, this made my day. I like pasta, clearly. So there was some company that was, they were trying it out, and they were putting their pasta, you buy pasta in a plastic bag, right? And then you take and throw the plastic bag away. You put the whole bag of pasta in because the bag is made of seaweed. And because it's seaweed, it salts your pasta at the same time. Yes. Oh yeah, see, it just yeah, yeah. I mean, and you have to try these things. We have to, work it out. You have to, but you have to have the money to do it, and that's the problem. And you have to have the people behind you, the people who have the power behind you, behind you to help you do what you need to do. So is sustainability sustainable? I'm always a cup half full. It's probably because I work in research and development, and I think that there's always a way to find. You just have to keep at it until
okay.
you get it.
Since I can't do it, highlight shiny squirrel. I have the reusable K-cups. Here's our problem right here. Right there. I am lazy. We are all
inherently.
lazy now because they've made it that way. The companies have made it to where we want easy crap. So it's not going to be sustainable because we want the easy way out. That's why I buy pizza rolls. Now, I do drink tap water. I will
But-
not drink, well, I have drunk
But-
bottled water, but it's because if I'm in a place that you can't get water, you have to buy bottled water.
Little bits like, thank you, Amanda. Yeah. I mean, it's little things like that. That is it going to save the world? No, but I also feel like it's got to. But let me just say, lazy's a choice.
I don't care. I'm lazy.
Choice. It is a choice. As soon as that British weather
It's coming
up,
from somebody who doesn't like to cook.
yeah, I mean,
This is why I'm lazy, because I'm going to throw something in the microwave and it's going to come in plastic. I'm not gonna, in my current situation now, honestly, I have done meal preps. I was a vegan, so I chopped things up and cooked things and all that crap. But right now, in the situation I'm in, when you're stressed and pushed and you're exhausted, you're going to take the easy way out. And
Yeah.
that is unsustainable.
and this goes back to people who like yourself and other, like I work all the time, but I fortunately have a partner that who started working, again. We just, I have a person to help me with, you do this, do that, but I'm waiting until that British weather changes and I can hang my clothes out, because let me tell you what, and well, we have the kind of weather for it as well. We have the kind of weather for it to hang clothes out where it doesn't get too like humid. Ain't nothing like a fresh hung out sheet. Smells so good. Oh, I love hanging out my clothes. I like the act of it. I just like going out there and pegging my clothes up. I feel so like, it's fun. I mean, I like it. I like doing it. And again, am I going to save the world by pegging my clothes out? Probably not. But hey, I enjoy the fresh smell of summer.
Here is what I think it boils down to, because we're never going to be sustainable in this world. There are too many people and too many corporations, and it's not going to happen. But if you, as an individual, feel like that you are being sustainable by what you do and how you do the things, and it makes you feel great and that you're doing something, then that's what counts.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah, if you do your part and you tried and you have done the things, then that's all you can do until we get the funding and the politicians and lobbyists. And first of all, we got to get the lobbyists out. I understand why they lobby. I understand that it's allowed, but I think at some point you have to go, okay, well, you're too into it. You're too into the business of trying to help this planet. You're not in the business of helping it, in the business of helping yourself. And we have to learn to be, and we see them doing what they want to do. So you clearly want to act like, oh, HOAs. See, we don't have HOAs here. That's a thing. That is not a thing here. We don't have HOAs here. You could paint your house purple, and too bad if you don't
It's
like
not always just HOAs. There are some cities that will not allow
Yeah.
you to have clothes hanging out.
Even in your backyard.
Yes,
Oh,
it is illegal. If somebody turns you in, you can get a fine for it.
I mean, yeah, out no allowed in our HOA. Yeah, see, the thing is, ours is, and we don't have. Yeah, oops. So yeah, so guys, we're at the top of the hour. Yeah, I have no HOA. That's not really a thing here. It's not really a thing here. Like if you complain to the council, and the council thought it was a situation, then they might get involved. But you have to go through so many steps. God, no one's gonna complain. But everybody out here, but all my neighbors hang their clothes. I mean, there's like I said, we don't have that type of thing here.
Well, that's the thing. Each country is different on what they do too, and what they allow, and all that stuff. So you have to take the whole world in consideration with the sustainability.
Change your law so you can hang your clothes out. HOAs, mind your business. All right, guys. Thanks so much for stopping by. We never figured it out, but we're here trying, and that's all we can do. And next week it'll be on Daniel's channel. Do we know what day yet? Or no? Unclear?
Possibly, maybe Wednesday. Unclear. I can't commit at the moment because I'm trying to get my plumbing situation taken care of.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to tentatively look for social media.
We'll
look
put
for
it up.
Instagram, and we'll figure it out from there and what time it will be and all that stuff. Once I get the phone call, I'll know more about what's going on and what's happening. So, yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us today. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time. You guys take care. Bye.
Bye.